Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. Today is Thursday, November 16th, and we have UFC Fight Night 121 in Sydney, Australia coming up this weekend. And we're going to break this fight down from a betting and odds perspective with our regular MMA and boxing expert guest odds analyst, Andreas Hale. Andreas Hale, thanks for being back with us.
Hey, thanks for having me once again.
All right, it's an interesting card here. Fight Night 121 in Sydney, Australia, and I'm thinking that maybe actually the main event, Fabricio Werdum against Tybura, is maybe the fight that has some of the best value on the whole main card, because I'm not quite understanding why Marcin Tybura is such a big underdog here. Obviously, Werdum is great, right? But he's coming off a kind of an easy win. He's 40 years old, and you know, he's kind of in the down slope of his career. Even though a win here for Werdum could easily lead to a title shot, but I think Tybura is getting a little bit disrespected here. Tybura has a lot of speed, obviously great power for a heavyweight. He's not lacking in power, and I guess Werdum should be the favorite here, but I'm not quite seeing minus 345. Tybura on the other side plus 285. Does this line make sense to you, Andreas?
It does a little bit, because Tybura, you know, he's a hard hitter, but the thing is when Fabricio Werdum gets a fighter on the ground, the fight's pretty much over.
Right.
And granted, we look at the Walt Harris fight, who he took as a late substitute over Derek Lewis, and he made short work of him. So he was right back in the camp. He's a guy who knows what he's doing, so I kind of understand the line. It is a little wide, but I just don't see any way that Marcin Tybura is going to win this fight. Granted, the issue here is heavyweights.
Right.
One punch changes the fight. So when you look at a line like this, it is worth a shot, because Tybura could just land a punch.
Exactly.
Even though Fabricio Werdum's striking has improved immensely over the past 5 years, it's just one punch, and that could change everything. So if you're willing to put up some money, and you know, with the probability of losing it, but you still have a chance here to make something off this Tybura fight.
Yeah, you're saying you can't quite see how Tybura wins the fight, but I think you just said it. How about just knocking him the F out? That's a one way. I could see that, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing is, you know, technique-wise, you look at strategy, you think Werdum has all the advantages. He's a former champion, once considered one of the greatest heavyweights of all time before he got knocked out by Stipe Miocic. But that's the thing about the heavyweight division. One punch changes everything. So the line, although I feel it is kind of justified given Werdum's experience and what he's done in big events, Tybura is he's a live dog here. And,
yeah,
you know, there's a way that this fight can end via knockout. And
what about the fact that, well, first of all, what about the fact that Werdum is obviously getting on in years, 40 years old, and the fact that he's fought, this is the third time he's going to have fought in the past 90 days or something like that. But, you know, he's putting in a lot of octagon time here at this stage of his career, right?
Yeah, he is, but I don't think that makes too much of a difference. I don't think the mileage really matters for Fabricio Werdum, especially when you're fighting a guy like Tybura, who went to a decision with Andreas Hale, who seemingly just about everybody knocks out lately. And aside from that, he doesn't have very many marquee names on his resume. So that being said, you know, I don't think the mileage is a big deal. And, you know, Fabricio Werdum's age, we've seen a lot of guys look very good in their 40s and late 30s. But it's just the fact that we're fighting in the heavyweight division and guys get knocked out.
Right. So then you sort of this sort of brings us to my next question about possible betting value here. Now, I've gotten burned recently, and on the last card, taking a bunch of totals at big favorite lines. But here it is scheduled for 5 rounds. The over is 2.5. The over is 2.5 minus 110. Under 2.5 minus 110 as well. Scheduled for 5 rounds. The fight not going the distance is just minus 180. And I'm thinking either Werdum gets knocked out or he subs Tybura. Very unlikely that this fight goes a distance, or would you disagree with that?
It's tough. Werdum has an interesting style. You know, he's a striker. He's finished a guy like Mark Hunt, but then again, he fights a guy like Alistair over him, and he goes the distance with him. And everybody thought somebody was getting finished in that fight. Werdum fights a style where he kind of is a little bit cautious unless he finds a big opening. If not, he's going to try to get you on the ground. Against a guy like Tybura, who is a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, I think he's going to try to get him on the ground and finish him. And Tybura, obviously, his only chance of winning here to me is a knockout. 5 rounds, I don't think it'll go the distance. However, I have a hard time picking under 2.5 rounds.
Right. Or just the fight not going the distance at minus 180. You think that's too big of a favorite line there?
It might be. It's a tough one. It's just because of Werdum's fighting style. You know, he looks for a finish, but when he doesn't get it, he kind of, I don't want to say he stinks it out, but he plays cautious. And he's durable as well. I don't think he's going to run out there and try to run into something either. He's fighting in Tybura's, you know, he's from Poland, but, you know, he's going overseas for this fight. And, you know, it could be a lot going on here coming off his last camp.
Right.
I don't know. The minus 180 is a tough one for me.
Yeah, Werdum knows that he has to be a little bit careful, especially with his advanced age and the guy that he's fighting. All right, that is definitely interesting. I'm also thinking about Tybura inside the distance at plus 465. Now let's move on to the next fight, which is Jessica Rose Clark against Bec Rawlings. And I wanted to give Clark here as a pick. A couple days ago, it was plus 135, and I thought that she was getting disrespected enough at that line to make it worth a play. Now, though, it has gotten bet down. She's still an underdog, but just plus 105. Rawlings on the other side is minus 125, and Rawlings is just her career's not going that well, And this is a nice opportunity for Clark. Seems like the momentum is in Clark's favor. I don't see necessarily the talent edge to justify Rawlings as a favorite. I guess I'd probably be leaning Clark at plus 105, or would you disagree with that, Andreas Hale?
This one is completely a toss-up fight. These two have both struggled in the recent fight. Bec Rawlings is 0-2 in their last two, and Jessie Rose Clark is 2-2 and I think 1 no contest. And she hasn't fought anybody the caliber that Bec Rawlings. At least Bec Rawlings has fought Atisha Torres. So you're looking at two women who are going to be standing up. They're not tremendous knockout artists. So the only thing I'm looking at here is this fight probably going the distance, even though I think we're looking at somewhere around minus 220 for that, I would think.
Yeah, the over 2.5 rounds is minus 250, so the fight going the distance, I can check, but it's going to be around minus 200 or so.
Yeah, so even that is kind of hard to stick with because, I mean, again, these are two women who are kind of middling in the division.
Right.
Jessie Rose Clark, she's making her UFC debut. She's going to look to impress, but she's not a finisher. So, I mean, you look at it both ways. I mean, stranger things have happened in these type of fights. Bec Rawlings will obviously be the hometown favorite here, but it's too narrow of a line for me to pick either one of them. I don't think either one should be a huge favorite.
Right. The fight going the distance is actually minus 225, so that's a big favorite line there. Yeah, I was going to give Clark at plus 135. Now it's down to plus 105, but I agree with you. The fight probably goes the distance, and I'm still thinking about giving Clark by decision at plus 189. Maybe?
That's an excellent maybe. I don't think either of these women are going to knock each other out, although it is possible. But at that line, I would probably take Clark for that.
Okay, now let's move on to the next fight, which is Tim Means against Belal Muhammad. And Tim Means is sitting just outside the top 15. Wants to get a big win here, which would be good for his career. So on paper, Means should have the advantage, but Muhammad is not really a dominant ground fighter, but definitely well-rounded. And at plus 180, Muhammad could definitely win this fight. I'm wondering, and Means should be the favorite. Wondering what the exact line should be here, and if maybe Muhammad has a little bit of value at plus 180.
There is a little bit of value here. Tim Means, he's a violent finisher. He's a very good fighter, but he's had his times in the octagon where he hasn't looked so sharp. So him being such a significant, well, I wouldn't say a huge favorite. I don't think he should be this much of a favorite. This should be a closer to maybe not an even money fight, but he should be a slight favorite. So that when you look at it like that, and Belal Muhammad, the style that he fights, he's a guy who kind of goes to the decision more often than not. I know he's finished a few guys lately, but you look at that, and there's a way he can stink this fight out and win with his style. If Means can't get off the offense that he wants to get off, he might be in trouble here. And if Belal Muhammad puts him on the ground and puts him on his back for two out of 3 rounds, he's probably going to get a victory here. Yeah. So there's some value here for Belal Muhammad for sure. Yeah, I'm going to pass on that one, though, just because, I agree with you. I think the value is with Muhammad, but it's small value. I don't really feel comfortable betting against Means, so I'm going to pass on that one. Now we have two fights that kind of have a certain specific outcome written all over them. We'll start with Velickovic against Jake Matthews, and Matthews is, of course, one of Australia's best young prospects, a 23-year-old guy who's trying his hand at welterweight here, and Velickovic, of course, is a guy who recently got beat by Darren Till. He's kind of a guy who likes to fight like low-volume fights. His fights tend to go to decisions, but he's not skilled enough to win decisions. So this one, to my eye, has Matthews by decision written all over it. The over 2.5 rounds is minus 220, but I'm a little bit surprised that Matthews is just a small favorite here of minus 135. Do you not think Matthews should be a bigger favorite here than just minus 135? I think he should be a slightly bigger favorite. I mean, he's lost 2 fights, and that's probably what they're looking at his momentum. But however, you look at his resume and what he's done and being one of the top prospects, he should be a slightly bigger favorite here. So, and I think it's exactly what you said. I'm looking at Matthews by decision for sure here. Yeah. I don't see this thing going too many other ways. I just think he's skilled enough to win a decision. I don't think it happens the other way around. Yeah, the fight going the distance is minus 185, and Matthews by decision is plus 177. And
those are both pretty tempting to me. I'll probably wind up giving one or both of those as an official pick at the end of this fight. And then the next fight, Daniel Kelly against Theodorou, is the same kind of situation. Theodorou should definitely be the big favorite here. His line has gotten bet up. The market definitely thinks this one is going to distance. The over 2.5 rounds has gotten considerably bet up over the week. It's now up to 2.5 minus 330, and this one has Theodorou up by decision written all over it. This is a prop that's not an underdog line, though. It's still minus 125, but probably better than taking Theodorou at minus 270. What do you think? Of course, Daniel Kelly is a 40-year-old guy, but a guy who's been pretty game, right? Overall in his career, he doesn't have the most imposing physique, but he's a guy who has tended to get pretty good results. Again, though, he seems like a little outclassed, 40 years old, and Theodorou is clearly the guy with the momentum and should be the favorite here, right?
Absolutely. Theodorou is a guy. He's younger. He's more talented. He's active. He has everything in his favor. Dan Kelly is just he's a dad bod guy with a lot of guts.
Yeah.
And people look at him beating Rashad Evans, but there's not a lot you can put into it because Rashad Evans is clearly not the same fighter that he once was. So Theodorou should be a big favorite here. Theodorou is not a huge finisher. This fight is probably not going to be pretty. So if you want to bet on it and close your eyes because you're probably going to get a 3-round stinker that finds Theodorou winning the decision.
Right. That's what I'm thinking, and that is minus 125. I wish I was getting a little bit, at least some kind of underdog odds there, but I might take it at 125 anyway. And then the last fight is going to be a pass for me. Volkanovski is a big favorite and getting bet higher, currently minus 700 against Shane Young, who is coming in on very late notice. The market does expect to finish. The under 2.5 rounds is minus 150. The over is plus 130. But there's so many unknowns here that it's going to be a pass for me. Have any say about this one, or is it a pass for you as well?
No, I actually like this fight going under 2.5 rounds.
Okay.
And the reason being is because this is the third different opponent for Volkanovski that has come up in the past couple of months. Shane Young is coming in on less than a week notice. What that usually results in is kind of some unpredictability between the two fighters and somebody running into something. These things don't tend to go the distance with last-minute replacements. And Shane Young is a kickboxer. Volkanovski is also a kickboxer. We're looking at two guys that are probably going to look for a finish here. I don't see this thing lasting long. So if I were to bet anything, it would absolutely be the under.
Okay, under 2.5 at minus 150. Do you want to make that an official pick, or is that just a lean?
I'm making that an official pick. I don't see either of these guys. They're coming here with something to prove, and somebody's going to get finished. Under
2.5, minus 150. First official pick from Andreas Hale. All right, now let's go back to the top of the card and make some official picks. Man, the Tybura-Werdum fight, I want to take Tybura. I want to take Tybura inside the distance, and I want to take the fight not going the distance at minus 180. I understand the reasons why those might not be good bets, but are you going to pass on this one or give an official pick on the main event?
You can have this one. I'm going to pass on it because there's a lot of things that are tempting here, but my guts, I just can't do it. I can't pull the trigger against Werdum.
All right. Okay. I will take the fight not going the distance at minus 180, even though I did get burned by that. And you make a great point, which is that, then again, you're right. Werdum is a cautious fighter when he needs to be. This is exactly the kind of spot where he should be cautious. This fight could easily go 5 rounds. We have seen that from Werdum in his career, haven't we?
Yeah, we definitely have, and we've seen him shut guys out, immediately and go right to the ground and finish them. So
yeah,
I don't know what I'm getting with Werdum. He's just coming out of a camp and having a fight, and then he's got the whole incident with Colby Covington where he threw a boomerang at him in Australia. So I don't know where his head's at.
Yeah. All right, you know what I will do? I'll swing for the fences on just one pick. If I lose, it'll just be one unit of a loss. But I will take Tybura inside the distance plus 465. So he gets a knockout. Great. If he loses the fight, all right, I'll eat it. But I just feel like Tybura has a real shot at ending this one, and I don't think there's any way that he wins it by decision. So I'll take Tybura inside the distance at plus 465. I'll either look like a hero or I'll have to eat a unit of loss. Clark and Rawlings, you know what? I think I am going to take a Clark by decision at plus 189. I liked her to win at plus 135. I do think this fight goes the distance. And again, as you said, a lot of unknowns here. So whenever there's a fight with a lot of unknowns, you want to take underdog lines in general. So I'll take Clark at plus 189 by decision as an official pick. You want to give a pick on this one?
Nope.
Okay.
I can't. I'm looking at it. I'm scared to pick anything on that fight.
I hear you. Muhammad and Means, I think we're in agreement. We think there's small value with Muhammad, but not enough for me to want to take it officially. Is this a pass for you as well?
Also a pass. It's not enough. I'd like to get a little bit more out of Muhammad here because I really like Means' offense.
Right. Okay, and then the Matthews-Velickovic fight, I definitely like Matthews by decision. I will definitely give that one. It's plus 177, and I think this one does go the distance as well, although I'm just going to hold off on it. I'll just take it one way, Matthews by decision. I don't want Matthews to win inside the distance accidentally, and then I have to lose 2 units. So I'll take Matthews by decision, plus 177 as an official pick. Is this going to be a pass, or you want to make a pick on this one?
No, this is the one I'm with you on, Peter. I think this is Matthews by decision. I'm absolutely taking that one. That's a lock for me.
Okay, that's the second official pick from Andreas Hale. And the Kelly-Theodorou fight, I will, even though it's just minus 125, not getting underdog odds, it just has Theodorou by decision all over it. And I'll take that one officially as well. Minus 125, Theodorou to win by decision. Do you want to go on that one or pass on this fight?
No, I'm in agreement with you there as well. I think Theodorou is going to win one way or another. I'm leaning heavily towards the decision, so I'll make that an official pick. Theodorou
all right.
By decision.
Andreas Hale is going to agree with me on that one, so that makes 3 official picks from Andreas Hale, and I have about 4, I think. And that wraps up our preview of UFC Fight Night 121 in Australia. Some interesting stuff here. We'll see what happens with this Werdum-Tybura fight. And we'll see where this line closes. I'll be interested to see if any big money comes in either which way. I'll be definitely feeling good about it if Tybura closes at under plus 200, which I think could be a possibility. I could see sharp guys thinking that Tybura is getting disrespected here and betting him down to like plus 200. Could you see that?
Yeah, I can see it coming. I mean, this line is wide, and when you see heavyweights fighting, you tend to go, you see a big dog, you say, hey, why not? So I can see that happening.
All right, Andreas Hale, thanks so much for all your insights as always, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.